Alfonso Cardalda, Chief Marketing Officer at Exness, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure.
Traditionally, financial markets have been dominated by global hubs like New York, London, Tokyo. However, the landscape has shifted significantly in recent years, especially in the MENA region. Where do you see the future of this sector heading?
Well, I think that the traditional hubs, they are still extremely important. London, like New York, and many others that you mentioned. But things are changing. Like we are on an on-demand society where everything is growing very, very fast. Everything is changing very, very fast. We're talking about the MENA region. Yesterday, we were seeing the numbers like plus 90% mobile penetration. We're talking about a forecast of almost double digit, around 38% growth year on year from now until 2028. We're talking about big numbers. So, of course, the switch is not about like the traditional hubs moving. It's like the model is changing. The fintech industry is changing. The Forex environment is changing. And I think that this is good for the consumer. Why? Because better access to platform, no friction on the way that you can be trading, fully localized content for you, very connected with, we will talk about that later on, about like the insights of the trader, the research, what they need, how they feel comfortable, what you can deliver for them to have the right strategy. So what it means is like, I think that in the next it's very difficult on these industries that they are growing so fast. It's very difficult to say what is going to happen in the next 5 years. But for sure, what is going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years is like we're going to see similar regions popping up, and you need to be ready to absorb these volumes, and you need to be ready to operate there. So I think that all of that, they are good news. This industry is important to understand the direction of travel of the industry. This is a very fast-growing category, still very immature in some areas. But on one side, you have this crazy growth, but on the other one, I think that we are reaching a point of consolidation, and you see how like middle and small operators, they start struggling because everything is growing very, very fast. At the same time, you need to maintain a good operational cost, but at the same time, you need to continue growing, keeping the consumers, retain them. Then on the other side, you see like the big players that they are growing more and more, taking a bigger chunk of the category. So I think that in the next year and a half, 2 years, we're gonna see how the environment and the names of the players are gonna be changing a bit, right? Because I think that we are entering, at the same time that we are growing, we are entering into a quite interesting consolidation phase. So definitely you're right. The go-to-market strategy for us is moving from a more traditional mindset to a different, more global kind of environment.
True. And how can brokers effectively engage with emerging markets to reach the next billion traders?
This claim of the next, yesterday we were on the Forex Expo, and this claim about the next billion traders, it makes me feel like, because I think that on this category, we make the mistake of always thinking about the scale, and all the communication is about the scale. At least myself, that I represent the interests of Exness and the marketing department, the commercial department, the product department, everyone at Exness, we think more on quality rather than volumes, big volumes, right? And let me explain you why, and I'm going to answer your question. First, I think that connected to what we were saying, that is the trust and is the interaction with the consumers. Yesterday, they were asking me about the next technology, how it's going to be the next most innovative product, etc. I think that there is a human element that is important. And that's for me why I like to be focused on the quality. I think that the trader needs to feel that is with a broker, that there is someone behind, that when there is a problem, someone is going to answer. Someone is going to have a meeting with the IBs, with the clients, is going to have present physically, is going to have this human connection, this human interaction. And this human interaction is important also for the expansion. Why? Because you need to understand the profile of your consumers. You need to understand the mindset. Before we were talking about most of the Forex companies, they have, and we do have a global product. But then on your go-to-market strategy, you need to market this product locally. The needs of the consumers in the different regions are totally different. There is always a baseline of things that they want. stability, good trading conditions, like quick withdrawals when they want to cash out the money from the broker. Also, no friction on the deposit. This is something that it doesn't matter on which region you are. That is a key element on the research. But there are other things that, depending on the consumer, you need to pivot. That's why, for me, that we are a product-driven company and a data-driven company. We put the trader in the center of the proposition. What it means. On each of the region that we go, we understand what they want. And when we see that potentially, we see that there are traders that are trading with Exness and trading with another competitor, and they are sharing the volume, we ask why. So you go to a trader and you understand, sometimes it's the product. Sometimes they are trading with us instruments that we do have at Exness, and they are looking for other products that we are not, we don't have as part of our operational model. So that's why they choose another broker. For that, you need product innovation. You need to add new products to the pipeline. Sometimes it's just like a perception. They perceive like the other broker also like a solid broker with good conditions, etc., etc. So they want to split and see and test, right? And sometimes it's just a matter of trust, as I said before. Why? Because they want to diversify their funds. So to unleash the full potential and to answer your question, the key element is the consumer understanding. I never saw any industry in the world, and I never saw any company in the world that was able to be successful without fully understanding the needs of the consumer. It doesn't mean that sometimes you create features and you innovate on your product about things that you believe that are good for the consumers, and the consumer still doesn't know it. We at Exness, we have many examples that Peter, when he started the business, now Igor as our chief trading officer, sometimes we are doing things ahead of the needs of the consumer because we know that the category is moving to this direction, and for the consumer is gonna need that. So the combination of factors to be sure that the expansion makes sense is consumer understanding. Then you need to open the different layers, that is product innovation, the right communications, but definitely like a human element that is going to build this trust and is going to build this connection with the consumers on the different regions.
Great. Let's dig deep into empowerment. It's not just about adding tools and features, right? What does true empowerment mean for the next generation of traders?
What empower means? Well, first, the traders, so this industry is led by the traders. It's not led by the brokers. The brokers, we provide a platform and we give them the tools for them to deliver their strategy. But the traders, they are the ones who demand whatever is needed for them to be successful, right? So in order to empower them, you need to be sure that you build a stable environment where they can deliver their strategy when they are behind or in front of the screens. What we know for sure, we know that we have the best trading conditions in the market. This is not a marketing claim, this is a reality, period. And we know that when you give to the consumer the best trading conditions, the consumer is more loyal, the reactivation is higher, the retention is higher as well. So a way to empower the consumers and the traders is to be sure that every single feature that you believe that is going to make their life easier when they are trading, you can provide that to them. I think that here at Exness we have a massive responsibility to bring simplicity into the operational model. I think that the market is complex enough. I think that the different strategies and the different situations that the trader is going to be facing every day, they are adding a lot of complexity. We want to remove noise. We believe that true simplicity is the right element to engage the traders and to continue growing. I think that simplicity, transparency, and efficiency are three words that are important, and I repeat that to my team every single day. And if on everything that we do, we have this obsession to be simple, but also to be efficient and also to be transparent on everything we do, you're going to empower the traders because they're going to feel comfortable, they're going to feel close to you, they're going to be successful when they trade, and I think that you close the cycle in terms of like how an operator should be.
And this will also enable you to build trust,
Yes,
right?
correct.
So how is trust defined in today's fast-growing environment?
Trust is a big word. I always I have this conversation with a lot of friends many times, right? So when I talk about a brand, the concept of brand is something that sometimes is difficult to understand, right? But the brand has a human element. On the same way that you have friends that you feel very comfortable to share with them very personal stuff, right? You have other friends that you feel good to go out and to party. On some others that when you need support, you know that you can talk to them. They're gonna give you the support. They're gonna understand you, right? So with the brand, also there is a lot of psychological factors that you need to deliver. One of those is the trust. I think that for me, it's not that I think, it's extremely clear that there is a claim that in Exness is super important, that your money is yours, period. This is the first step. At the moment that you interact with us and you go through the different touch points and you make a deposit and you start trading, this money, whatever amount you have on the Exness account, is your money, and you can have access to this money anytime without any problem. And for sure, we have account segmentation, we have different tools to not only warranty the funds, but to be sure that they're accessible immediately. That's why instant withdrawals is one of the most, uh, let's say, important tool when you do marketing communications, because the consumers, they know that they are with a broker at any time, just pressing a button. Of course, it depends with the process, like third party, etc., but automatically the money goes through them. So first, I think that this trust, you build it with a model that the people, they understand that when they are making a deposit, that when they are giving you their trust with their money, you give back the same level of security, okay? The second one is the way that you operate, okay? We were talking about transparency. Here at Exness, every single element of the equation is clear, is transparent, is open. You can have access to that. You can contact us, you can call us, you can go to any of the events that we create. You can ask any questions, we're gonna be there. And the human element also generates a lot of trust. I think that the stability of the platform also helps, right? It's not the same to be, and I see when you do research across the different brokers, you can see that there is a bit of a commodity, this category, but you see that there are elements that are very important. And perception versus reality, you see how consumers that are trading with brokers, that they lack of stability, when you ask them the questions about to switch another competitor, they are much more open to move. And it's not about they don't feel that their money is safe, etc. It's just like the platform is not stable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So to generate this trust, we can be like hours talking about that. There are layers and layers and layers of elements that you need to put on the equation. And when you do it right, when you do it understanding what the consumer wants, at the end, the people, they trust you. And this is the example. Exness, like in the past 16, 17 years, if there is something that I'm extremely proud of, is to represent a company where like the traders, they trust, they feel at home, and they continue trading with us for years. And the new ones also, they have the same feeling that the ones that they started 5 years ago. So yeah, extremely happy with that.
Good. And my last question to you, with the next billion traders coming from markets like the UAE, Jordan, South Africa, how do you see the future of global trading?
I think that I always use this word called glocal. What it means, glocal? Glocal means like global platform, global product, but local activation. It's difficult to say what is going to be the next big market in the next 5 years. What I can tell you is like Exness is ready to attend the demand, to deliver the best product, to have and plug the right customer service, the right localization of the product, the right localization of the communication. So for me, it's less about who is going to be next. It's more about, are you ready to operate into the next big market. And let me clarify why I'm giving you this answer. I empower my team every day for them to be almost obsessed with looking at ourselves. Of course, you need to see what the competitors are doing, you need to see what the industry is doing, you need to see the direction of travel, but you need to be focused on being the best. So, for me, it doesn't really matter what is going to be the next big market or the next big bet, because what matters for me is to build a model where plugging in and plugging out, I can have operations across the world. So I think that the key of the success of a company like us is to be sure that you are able to maintain a control on the cost, the operational cost, at the same way, on the same time that you can continue growing and you can fully localize any piece of content or any piece of element of the organization. Doing that, you're going to have the formula of success. You're going to be able to enter into the new markets. You're going to be able to maintain the existing ones, and the traders, they are going to continue trading with you because the product has quality.
Wonderful. Alfonso Cardalda, thank you for your time and for your insights.
Thank you very much. Thank you.